All right, it is 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. I see folks coming into the room, and welcome to Lights, Cameras, Action. So come on in the room. We're going to get started here very shortly. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Fran Harris, and Kim Coles and I are the creators of Lights, Cameras, Action. So as you guys are coming in the room, we're getting some technical things set on our end. Kim is logging in from New York. So we're going to stand by for a couple of moments for her to get in so that we can both greet you and get this thing started. So welcome everybody to Lights, Cameras, Action. Fran Harris, stay put, and we will be back very shortly. While we're waiting on Kim, if you want to, let me open up the chat. You want to just kind of put in where you are, where you're logging in from. That would be great. Where are you guys logging in from? All right, we've got Dr. Deborah from Fort Lauderdale. Where are you logging in from, everybody? Just type that in the chat bar. If you see the chat, type in where you are logging in from and where you are watching the broadcast from today. And we will get started very shortly. All right. See, I've got one little. All right. Michael, where are you logging in from today? Where are you watching the broadcast from today? Marie from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Hello, Marie. I believe Kim is from North Carolina. I don't remember if it's which city she's from, but Kim Coles is from North Carolina, I believe. So welcome, North Carolina in the house. West Hollywood. Hey, Damon. I'm assuming that's Damon. Good to have you. We've got Robin from New Jersey. Welcome, Robin. In fact, you know what I'm going to do while you guys are coming in the room? I'm going to give you a little love. Yeah. What I love about this tool that we're using, you get to do real fun stuff like that. You get to welcome people in. Michael from Los Angeles. Hi there, Marie. So you guys, as you are joining, grabbing your seats, your virtual seats, we are going to get started here very shortly. Laquita from Houston. What's up, Laquita? Good to have you in the room. Little applause there for y'all. So thank you for joining us for Lights, Cameras, Action. This is going to be a really fun webinar presentation with us today. And so glad you took some time out of what I'm sure is your busy day to hang with us. Just want to make sure you guys, I'm assuming you're responding in the chat bar. Can everybody hear me okay? Just type in yes if you can hear me fine. We are streaming, of course, online, and sometimes the audio gets a little crazy depending on your connection, my connection, and those kinds of things. But if you can hear me okay, just type in yes. All right, waiting for some yeses. All right, great. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Aura from Houston, more Texas folks in the house. So I'm in the lovely city of Austin today, where the allergies are very high. So I may have to take a couple of breaks to drink my water, but nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got Lisa by way of Edwards of is that Alton or Atten Edwards? All right. So we got some folks coming in. Kim's cousin is in the house, so we are ready. We're getting ready to start. Now, as I mentioned, Kim was having some difficulties from New York, so she may be dropping in here in a second. So before I bring up the presentation, I'm actually going to bring me up so that you guys can see me and I can say hi, so you know this is real. This is live. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. And as I mentioned, welcome to Lights, Cameras, Action. Kim Coles, the wonderful Kim Coles, will be joining us from New York shortly. We're having some issues with her Wi-Fi from wherever she is in the city of New York. So we're going to allow her to pop in when she gets a moment, but we're going to go ahead and get the presentation started. All right. Hey, Kim, I see you. Kim Coles. Are you in the house, Kim?
No, I can. It's very difficult to hear you, and it just went out again.
Okay, so say hey to everybody, Kim, before you, in case you get dropped out again. Go ahead and say hi to folks.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our wonderful, wonderful webinar that I'm having difficulty with Wi-Fi. I'm trying it on my phone. I'm trying it on in the cloud. I'm in the cloud. I'm off the cloud, and I cannot get onto this webinar properly. So I'm going to keep trying. It seems to be kicking me out. I can hear a little bit, but not very well.
All right, quick question for you, Kim, before you get kicked out again. Everybody, can you guys hear Kim okay? Because it could just be a thing between our Wi-Fi. Can you guys hear Kim okay? So type in the chat bar, yes, if you can hear Kim, or give me an idea of what her audio is like.
And you sound a little bit less underwater than you were before. So I can't see your face and I can't see the chat bar, but I can muddle through this. That's what you do. If you're tenacious, you just hang in there.
You can roll with it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the presentation, Kim. So what I'm going to do is allow you, while you're here, to introduce yourself, because I think it's important that folks understand who you are and what brings you to the presentation today. So go ahead and take it out. Kim? And there she goes. Guys, let me tell you this. You better get ready to roll with whatever happens. Whatever happens, you better get ready to do it. So we're gonna wait for Kim to come back, and I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with the presentation. So what is Lights, Cameras, Action, and who is it for? So Lights, Cameras, Action is really a presentation that we wanted to do to introduce folks to the power of television and why it should be a part of your marketing mix. So whether you are a comic or an entertainer or a therapist or a coach or a CEO or personal trainer, whatever it is, what we've learned in our respective 30 years on the air in various capacities is that nothing is more of an authority builder, an influence builder, and honestly, a star builder like television. So when Kim and I got together and started thinking about what we wanted to do to collaborate, it was kind of, for us, it was a no-brainer in terms of what we thought would best serve our respective audiences. So there are people who are in Kim's tribe who are entertainers and comics and actors and coaches and speakers. And then I have people in my tribe who are speakers, coaches, therapists, thought leaders, CEOs of companies, and those kinds of things. And we both agreed that nothing, again, had changed our lives like television. So we said, let's come up with something that can really significantly, exponentially help people build their audiences, build their brand, and help them serve more people. And regardless of what you think about what's happening online, television is still the mama of all mamas when it comes to building your brand. If you are on television in some capacity, your ability to reach people exponentially exceeds anything else. So that's why we wanted to do Lights, Cameras, Action. Kim, do you want to jump in and introduce yourself and tell them who you are?
Hi there. So I don't know if you can hear me, but can you hear me? You'll let me know.
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you.
Okay. I can't see you. It hopefully doesn't kick me out again. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim.
And it did kick her out again. Listen, I hope y'all are having fun as you're watching this. I hope you are laughing as this happens. As much as we love technology, it is not perfect. It's not perfect. So we're going to keep this going. Kim is going to pop back in. And when she does, trust me, I'm going to bring my partner back in, my partner in crime back in when it's time for her to basically get back on and talk to you guys. And there she is. There you are. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, let me talk fast. I'm an actress, comedian, author, speaker, host, and so much more. And I started in show business as a comedian, and that led to me becoming an actress, and then all the other things, all the other dots I've added. And I did hear you say that the power of television is what launched both of us.
Yes.
My goal growing up was to be on TV, to be Carol Burnett or Lucille Ball, and later on Whoopi Goldberg and so many others. And the power of television is wonderful. And I grew up in an era where there were personalities on TV. There were people who were on TV who I didn't even know what they did, but there they were on TV being their authentic selves. And nobody was really talking about authenticity back then, but we now see that you can have a wonderful career as a performer, as a speaker, as a coach. There are coaches that get hired to be on these shows as experts. And so there are many ways in, and if it's a goal of yours to be in, Fran and I, with our combined 60 years of knowledge, can help you get there. Right, Fran?
Absolutely. That's what it's about. And that's why when we opened it up and we talked about who this was for, Kim and I have had very different paths to where we are today and the things that bring us together today. But we unite on the fact that television has played a major role in who we've become and the way we've been able to serve our audiences and build our careers over our respective 30 years. So basically, we've told you what this is about and who it's for. So what I want to do now is to actually, I should probably introduce myself. How about that, Kim Coles? How about I tell people who I am? I am Fran Harris, and I will actually come on screen for this. Stand by. Hey, everybody. Fran Harris again. I said hi earlier, but I wanted to take a second away from the actual presentation to introduce myself. Some of you know me because you're already on my list, and those of you who are meeting me for the first time, hello. I had started my career maybe 20 plus years ago on television as an ESPN announcer. And as I started to do sports and start to grow my own company, which is a consulting company, a training and development company, I started to get opportunities on television to talk about business, to talk about how you market your business better, how you grow your companies and those kinds of things. So before then, I didn't really realize that you could actually build your brand as an expert, as a speaker, as a coach, as a therapist, as a thought leader on television. But I started to see people on morning shows, like when you would get up and go get ready for your run or for work, you would see people on morning shows talking about whatever their expertise was. And I realized that television could be a great vehicle for people like me who were not actresses or directors or producers and, not necessarily in the Hollywood networking scene, but were doing their respective things in their careers and their industries. I started to understand the power that television could play in building my career as a business coach, as a thought leader. And that's how I came to the work. So I've continued to build my career as a sports announcer with ESPN, the SEC Network, Longhorn Network, while at the same time building my brand on television as a life coach and a business coach, hosted my own series on HGTV, and continue to do ESPN, as I mentioned. So the rich heritage that Kim and I have in our respective paths is what today is about. So you've met us. Let's hit it back with the presentation. And Kim, what I'd like to do now, and you're still here, which by the way, I'm loving, you're still here. I talked about who we are. And now what I'd like to do is talk about our promise to you guys. Now, our promise, and Kim may want to chime in on here, our promise is that we are going to deliver the goods today. We like to have fun. We don't get befuddled when technology doesn't work. And we'd like to bring you this rich tradition and this rich heritage that our careers have given us so that you can walk away and do the same thing. So that's my promise, is that we're going to give you the good stuff. We're going to chime in with each other on different things that we feel that we can lend some thoughts in terms of what the other person is saying. But for the most part, this is about you leveraging the power of the media and television and video to grow your business. What else do you want to add to that, Kim?
I would love to tell you that I heard what you said. I did hear you say what you'd like to add to that, Kim. I did hear leverage. It's just a weird sound coming through. It sounds a little bit underground, a little bit underwater, and almost like you're playing a guitar or something. So I didn't hear what you just threw to me. But give it to me one more time. And I hear you laughing right now. But what would you like to would you tell me again what you'd like me to comment on?
What are you promising today?
What am I promising today?
Yeah.
I am promising that I come here with over 30 years of knowledge in show business and that understanding that you must understand the business of show business, and you must understand that you, again, as an actor, as a comedian, as a coach, as a speaker, as a thought leader, you are an entrepreneur, and to know some very key principles about, and this is beyond the fame, this is beyond the money, this is beyond all of that. It's about knowing the business and knowing that there are certain pieces that need to be in place in order for you to get seen, noticed, and booked. And so my promise today is to deliver a piece of what I know to help you get closer to being more seen, more noticed, and more booked, because then it is about the money.
Awesome. Okay. So that's our promise for today in terms of what we are going to deliver. And then we do have some expectations, and our expectations is that you are going to shut down anything that might stop you from getting the absolute most out of our time today. So that could be Facebook, Google, your Periscope, on another call, juggling phone calls, whatever. Give us your time and your attention today, and I guarantee you will walk away with something that will help you grow your business exponentially. And then our other promise is that we know that there will be people who will want to go deeper and farther with us, deeper and wider with us. Then we're going to give you the opportunity to do that at the end. So make sure you hang around for that. All right. Got something really special for you on that. So if you guys are ready, let's go. Now, I'm going to let Kim start about why we wanted to do this, Kim. You know, what are the problems that are and I would say problems and opportunities for people in today's marketplace as it relates to building their brand?
Well, there's lots of problems or opportunities. I like the way you say that. It's an opportunity, because everything is, I love this phrase, everything is figure outable. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a message, or if you have a talent inside of you and you'd like to bring it forth, and like to bring it forth in this powerful medium. Listen, you set it up. I heard pieces of what you were saying, and what you're saying is that there's still nothing more powerful. There is online, and when we talk about what we're offering later on, we will give you opportunities to understand the opportunities that are online. But there's nothing like using the message that you have inside of you, using your own authenticity, using your own it factor to move your message further. And I always start with this. What is your why? What is your why? What is this inside of you, and why do you want to bring it forth? And who do you want to touch with this message? And I mean this for actors too. I've said this before, that anyone who wants to sort of be in the public eye, or wants to use their gifts and their talent, it's actually sacred in a way. I do think that we each have a gift inside of us, and it is a sacred thing to actually open it and share it with the world, because that's what makes the world a better place. And so your why should not be connected to fame and the money. That's the benefit of it. That's the extra bonus that you get with it. My hope and desire would be to foster in you your gift and your message and your talent, and that with this gift and talent and message that you inspire others, that you touch others, that you bring out other people's emotions. I mean, that's what actors do. They help you feel other emotions. And that's what comedians do. You make light of things so that people can look at things from your perspective. Or maybe you're a coach or a speaker and you have more people that you want to touch. And so I think that that's what this course is about. That's what this day is about reminding you that you have this inside of you, and that there are certain tools that you just have to put in place. And when you do, you will move to the next level and the next level and beyond.
Absolutely. And you know, the opportunities, as Kim talks about what's possible for you. You know, I've always heard that the solution is always in the problem. What's great about living in 2016 is that anybody with a talent or a message and access to the internet can grow a very successful business. The problem is that in 2016, anybody with access to the internet can get online and think they can grow this business or whatever. So sometimes it rubs both ways, the good way and the bad way. But what I love about the times that we live in right now is that there are no more excuses. I would say maybe 30 years ago, and Kim, you can chime in if you want, maybe 30 years ago, you could say, well, I can't grow my business. I can't grow my brand. I can't grow my business as an entertainer or a comic or as a coach or a speaker, because nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows who I am. I don't live in Hollywood. I don't live in New York. Well, today with the internet, that changes everything. The internet literally was the great equalizer because it gives anybody with access to a computer, and if they have fingers, to actually go online and build their brand. But where the internet starts and stops is really interesting when you, depending on who you talk to, because as we mentioned earlier, nothing can change things like television. You can have a YouTube channel of 50,000 people and then appear on one show on television, and you've already outdone what you did on the internet. And so I think most of you guys listening here and watching us today understand the power of television, or you wouldn't be on this webinar today. So again, the big problem is there's a lot more competition than there was 30 years ago. And competition for me just means other people doing what you do. It doesn't mean obstacles. It just means there are more people in your space, way more people than there were even 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. So the question becomes, how do you, in a marketplace that's full of hundreds of thousands or millions of people doing what you do, aspiring to do what you want to do, how do you stand out? And so when people have come to us respectively and talked about, hey, I really want to grow my brand, I want to get to the next level as an entertainer, I want to get to the next level as a coach or as a television host, what do you think I should do? Kim and I have always said, you need to figure out how to get on television. So, but obviously everybody can't get on television. That's a reality, y'all. Everybody will not get on television. And a part of the reason, and this is probably part of the problem, part of the reason people won't get on television is because they don't believe that they can. They don't know what Kim and I are going to be sharing with you today. And that's why some folks will never get on TV. All right.
Well, it's a big thing. So, you know, you and I have talked a lot about there are 7 C's. We have 7 C's that are sort of the pillars of show business and starting out and actually hanging out and hanging out. And my big C is competition, just what you're talking about right now. So I'd like to talk to you all right now, because I'm sure there is someone going, well, I'm not the only one of my kind. There's other people who do what I do. And how do I stand out, get seen, get noticed, and get booked? And the first thing I want you to know is that actually competition, do you mind if I just jump in here?
Oh yeah, go for it.
I've jumped in already. That I actually believe that competition is a myth. Let me say that again. Competition is a myth. So I mean, just like a myth exists, it exists. But it's your perception and your perspective around competition that needs to shift. And let me help you shift it. Here's the deal. There really is only one of you. There's only one of you. And it is your job to stand out and just be you. Just be authentically you. Because here's the thing, there may be only one gig to be filled, and often there is only one gig to be filled. And whoever they are, the producers or the people who you're auditioning for, or whoever it is that is the casting director or the person in charge, is going to fill that one spot. But it is your job to show up and be so authentically you within the confines of what they're asking you to show up and do. The description of what the character is, description of what the gig is. Maybe you're going to be a correspondent on a show, whatever it is. You read through that, you see what those descriptive items are, and then you fit yourself into it. And either they want you or they don't want you. So it's not you're competing with other people. You're actually only competing with yourself. I have succeeded as long as I have in an industry where the way I look is not the look that you're told you should look like. I'm not the standard, and I'm not putting myself down, mind you, but I'm not the standard accepted beauty standard, whatever that is. I don't look like the cookie cutter girl. I don't look like everybody else. I look like me. And every time I show up as just me, I bring something else into the room. I'm actually grateful that I never looked like everybody did, because when I show up, I get to be special. And so no matter what you look like, no matter what you have inside of you, bring that forth. And therefore, the only competition is you. You're only in competition with yourself. You're only in competition with your last best self. If you walk into the room and bring yourself, bring your authentic, best, quirky, perfect, imperfect self with whatever your triumphant about, meaning whatever your magnificence is, you can't lose with that because you can only win with that. And I know that sounds like a dichotomy, but go with me on this. Imagine that you walk in and you confidently bring yourself, and you're sitting in a room, you're sitting in an audition room, or often you're actually interviewing with other people, and you literally see all the other people that they have called in to this particular gig. You're sitting there with your competition, and you're all completely different, but only you are you. And so I say to you, one of the ways that you get past all that competition is you stay at the top of your game in all ways. So study what you need to study. Study whatever it is they send you that you have to study to audition or to read for or to be for that particular job. Study the company that you're going in for. This actually works for any kind of job that you're going for. Study where you're going. Know the facts. Know the understanding. Know the history of what's happening. Understand what it is they're asking you to do.
All right, so I am still here, you guys. So Kim will be back when she can be back, but I want to dovetail on what Kim was saying about competition. Yesterday, I was speaking to some 7th grade girls at a like a leadership academy in San Antonio, and I was talking to these girls about competition. And I said to them, I said, listen, the only thing you can do is your absolute best. The only thing you can do is your absolute best. It doesn't matter what the girl next to you is doing. It doesn't matter what the boy next to you is doing. The only thing you can do is your absolute best. And that's what competition is about. It is about bringing your full self to the party and going hard. I mean, that's really what it is. If you go hard, as Kim mentioned, if you study, if you do your absolute best, and you let the chips fall where they may. And that's what's been the staying power for both of our careers. I mean, you don't last 30, 40, 50 years in a very tough and, competitive industry without understanding the true meaning of competition and what it means when you bring that to an audition or to a meeting that you have with executives or producers or people who may be booking you to speak at a conference. So Kim, I'll let you pick back up on your competition, and then I'll talk about confidence.
Hello, hello.
Hey there.
Hello, hello.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Fran, can you hear me? Hello,
Yeah.
hello.
I'm nodding. Can you hear me?
I think you threw me a question and I can't hear you. I can only hear it very wobbly.
Just continue. I was saying, go ahead and finish what you were saying about competition.
Do you mind saying that one more time, please?
Finish what you were saying about competition. You can go ahead and continue what you were saying.
So what I was saying was, in order to feel strong and ready, in order to feel as if you're at your best, you must work to feel.
All right, there she goes again. So I'm going to finish talking about competition, and then I'm going to talk about confidence. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and segue and talk about confidence, because for me, that's where everything changes. That's where the game changes. But in order to really talk about confidence, I got to dovetail again on what Kim was saying about competition. I remember when I moved to LA, I think in 2003 and 2004, and there was an audition for a fitness show or something at this point. And the casting call, you get these things that says here, what they're called sides, right? So they go, here's what we're looking for. We're looking for Latin, Latino, 24 to 64 or 24 to 35 or whatever. They tell you what they're looking for. So I remember I had just gotten a new agent. And I said, okay, so send me out for stuff. I got to get out there. I got to start building my resume, those kinds of things. And my agent said, well, there's this fitness thing, but they're looking for a 20-something-year-old white girl, right? We're looking for a 20-something-year-old white girl. And I told Kim this story a couple of weeks ago. And I said, well, I fit everything else on this audition thing on what they're looking for. I don't fit the 24-year-old white girl, but do me a favor and submit me anyway. So my agent goes, Fran, I'm not going to waste people's time. They are looking for a 25 to 30-year-old white girl. And I said, dude, Just get me in the room. Don't tell me what they're looking for. Just get me in the room. That's all I need you to do, is to submit me for this, and I will take it from there. So he begrudgingly, okay, I'll send it up, but I'm telling you, don't get your feelings hurt. Don't be frustrated when they don't call you back. And I said, don't worry about it. I can handle that. They're looking for a 25 to 30-year-old white girl. Clearly, I'm not a white girl. And clearly, I'm not 24 years old. Well, maybe not so clearly to some people, but I'm not 25 years old. And I go to this audition. And when I walk into this audition, now this is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about competition. So when you go to auditions, when people are looking for experts to be on their morning shows, or they're looking for people to be on, actresses to be on series or whatever, there are other people in the room. So I go in there. I'm the only non-white girl in the room. Okay. And I hear y'all laughing. I can see y'all laughing in the chat room. I'm the only non-white girl in the room. There were people who were not Anglo, who were passing for Anglo. I couldn't do that. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do that. And I walk in there. I'm looking at maybe 30 other young women who are in there. I go in, I act like I belong there. I belong there. I know I'm not what you asked for, but I'm coming in here to read for you. I'm coming in here to audition for you. So I go in the room, I walk in the room, and you can imagine the way people were looking when I walked in the room. I was not who they asked for. So I walk in the room and I just ignore them. I completely ignore them. I ignore the fact that they weren't asking for me. I go in, I do the audition, and I got the part. I do the audition and I got the show. I got the show. They were looking for 25 to 30-year-old Caucasian women. I walk in there, non-Caucasian, not in the right age range, and I get the part. Guys, that's what Kim and I are talking about. We're talking about bringing your full self, bringing everything that you have to the audition, to your work, so that you basically shatter any myths, any preconceived notions that people have about what you can do. That's what it's about. That's what lights, cameras, action is about. Now, could that happen every single time? Probably not. But it doesn't matter. Sometimes you just need to be in the room. Sometimes you just need to have the confidence to walk into a situation and say, there's a possibility that I am what you're looking for. And here is why. Okay, so that's my fun story about competition, because in fact, that's the best story I have about competition, because I don't think many people would do that. I think most people, and this is, you guys can chime in the chat bar if you want. Most people say, well, I'm too old, I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, I'm too brown, I'm too black, I'm too old, right? That's the way most people approach life. I'm too this, and therefore I can't have this. What Kim and I have been able to do is to say, you know what? Maybe I'm not what you're looking for, but maybe I am what you're looking for. And so I am going to come in, I'm going to bring my whole self, and then we'll see what happens. And that's kind of how I approach competition. So I want to talk about confidence, because I know, as an athlete, as a businesswoman, as someone who's in 3 very tough arenas: sports casting, sales, and media. Yeah. So basically, I know the level of, sometimes the level of competition, and sometimes the level of other stuff that's going on when you're trying to get something done. So confidence has always been a huge, huge factor for success. And confidence is not something you can fake, right? Most of you have heard, how many of you have heard the thing for people saying, fake it until you make it? I'm not a big proponent of that, but I understand what's behind that. What I understand what's behind fake it until you make it is that you got to act like you belong places. And for me, that's not faking it, because I do feel that I belong in certain places. So I walk in as if I belong there. So confidence is about knowing. It's about knowing. And sometimes it's not about being at the necessarily the skill level that you need to be at to have what you want. Sometimes it's just about knowing that you will get there. Sometimes it's just about knowing that you belong there. That's where confidence comes for me. It's not about, I think I'm the best this or anything. Sometimes I do, but most of the time it's not even about whether I think I'm the best. It's that I belong in this room. I belong in this show. I am worthy to be in these situations. And so if you're struggling with the concept of belief and faith and belonging and worth, then you will appear not to have a lot of confidence. Okay. This is not about anything other than belief, faith, worthy, feeling worthy, and knowing that you belong there. Kim, do you want to chime in on that or finish talking about competition before I continue talking about confidence? Can you hear me? Kim? Well, you guys can take a break as we're taking a break, and I'll keep talking, obviously. All right. So I'm going to take a quick drink because I talk for a long time, but I don't want to rush through the confidence thing, y'all, because that is the piece. When you're talking about succeeding in show business, the entertainment business, the television business, the media business, you are talking about what will help you more than anything, especially if you've never been on television, if you've never been in a film, if you've never been on a TV series, if you've never appeared on your local TV. You're talking about the thing that will be your X factor before they really get to know what your talent is about, and that's your confidence. So I'm going to ask you right now, the 4 things that I mentioned, I'm going to poll you guys, talk in the chat bar. Of the 4 things I mentioned: belief, knowing, worth. I'll just say 3 things. Which of those do you believe you struggle most with? Belief, and that can be in yourself, your talent. Knowing, meaning that you belong in the room, and worth. Which of those 3 things do you struggle most with? And we're waiting on you to answer those. Which of those do you struggle most with? Anybody? So y'all don't struggle with any of that? I'm waiting in the chat bar for who struggles with belief or knowing or worth. Worthy. All right, I see you. What else? Knowing. Great. Not great that you're struggling, but great that you're willing to share that's a part of the journey. If you can address your belief, your knowing, and your worth, there's absolutely nothing.
I keep getting kicked out.
Sorry, I can try to get someone up here right now.
Oh, there's absolutely nothing you're not going to be able to do. Stand by, guys.
No, because it's still going on.
Texting me, and I'm going to tell her to turn her audio down real quick.
Yeah, but you can probably for the next 20 minutes make a big deal.
Can you turn down your audio a little? Your audio?
She's talking. This is gonna be so...
There we go. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what could be done.
If you can deal with your belief, your knowing, or your worth, you are in the house. You are in the house. You are going to do amazing things. But that work has to be done. It doesn't matter what your talent is like. If you believe that because you are fill in the blank, whatever that is, if you believe that you are too old, too fat, too black, too brown, too tall, too short, if you believe those things, those are the things that are going to keep you from what you want, right? So I won't necessarily turn this into one of my belief workshops, but I got to tell you that confidence is not just about bowling people over with, how great you are. It really is the 3 components I talked about: belief, knowing, and worth. So there's work to be done for all of us around those 3 things. I can't, I don't know why those are struggles for you. I just know for me, a lot of times it was, nobody had ever done what I was trying to do. So it's hard to know it if no one that you know has ever done it, right? Belief wasn't my thing because I grew up believing that I could do things. My parents instilled those things into me, but did I know that it could happen? Not always. Okay, so I'm going to challenge you as we continue on through this to look at those areas in your life, your belief, your knowing, and your worth. I do have a couple of questions. Speaking of that, some folks threw some questions out at us. That Kim, I'm going to let you, if Kim, you can hear me. Can you hear me, Kim?
I can hear you a little bit. So throw me a question. Let's see what happens.
This question is from Gretchen. So Gretchen said, is it a challenge being over 50, getting seen, noticed, and booked? What are your thoughts on that?
Can you text that to me since we're on text as well? Text it to
yes, me. Absolutely. All right. So you guys heard the question, which is a great question. Is being 50 a challenge and getting seen, noticed, and booked? So guys, here we go. I'm gonna text this to Kim and then she'll answer it. Oh, she's gone. All right, so I will answer that question. I will answer that question. I don't think a whole lot about age, to be honest. And sometimes when I'm producing a show, if like I'm producing one of my own shows, Gretchen, and someone comes in, I can always tell, and you guys need to know this, I can always tell how someone feels about himself or herself by the way they come into a room and take a meeting, always. So I can tell if you're subconscious about your weight. I can tell if you're subconscious about what you look like. I can tell if you're subconscious about your age, right? So the answer to that, Gretchen, is both yes and no. Like, I don't personally believe being 50 is an issue. Obviously, I walked into an audition that was asking for a 24-year-old white girl. And I wasn't 25. I think I was like 39 or 40 or something. So apparently I don't think age is an issue, but I think that's how you have to approach it. This is for guys or women or whatever your thing is that you have a difficult time overcoming. It's a barrier for you. You think other people are thinking about it, right? That's what being self-conscious is about. Not subconscious, but being self-conscious is about, is you think other people are noticing it, right? So being 50, not a challenge, depending on what you want to do. The reality, as Kim said earlier, if you were trying to be on Baywatch, this show that was on like 30 or 40 years ago, well, they were only casting 19 or 20-year-olds. That might be a challenge for you. But in the realm of what I think most of you who are watching us today want to do, being 50 or 60 or 70 is not a challenge at all. It should not be a barrier or an impediment for you.
I want to jump in here while I have you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can't hear what you're saying, but you asked me, is 50 a challenge? I'm going to tell you that it's not. It is actually my secret sauce. And the trick is to make wherever you are, whatever size you are, whatever color you are, whatever fill in the blank you are, make it work for you. Yes. So right now, I'm not going up for ingenue roles, but I'm okay with that. I'm in a new phase. I'm in a new stage. You have to work whatever stage you're on and whatever stage you're in. And I mean that literally and figuratively. Look at the playing field that you're dealt with, the playing field that you have. Look at all the resources that you have, and work with what you got. So I'm 54 years old. I think I look pretty good for 54. And so I work it. I work where I am. Maybe in my case as a comedian, I make jokes about not being a cougar because my husband is a few years younger than me. And so because I'm older than him, I work with what that is. I happen to do jokes about menopause. Make it work for you. Whatever's working for you, make it work for you.
Great.
Even if you think it's not working, even there are qualities that you may have that may be considered a detriment or I should say, what's the word I'm looking for, or a liability. Turn it around and make that thing work for you. And here's the thing. People will believe you if you step into the confidence that I know you talked about. I didn't get a chance to hear you talk about it here on this particular seminar or webinar, but I know that is an important piece as far as you're concerned, Fran. If you are confident, if you believe it, the rest of the world will too. We all know. Listen, there's a legend that Cleopatra, was said to actually not be the prettiest thing in the room, that she actually wasn't pretty by their standards. They said that she had a little light voice. It was kind of like a bird, but she was really, really smart, and she knew how to use her smarts and her feminine wiles to get what she needed to get. She was not the beauty that we legendary hear that she was. She was kind of funny looking. So if you're kind of funny looking, or if you're kind of whatever you are, work with what you got, and that will help you stand out, as I said that you should, as far as competition, and it will help you stand out as far as your confidence, as I know that Fran talked about. Hey, Kim, I'm still on track.
You are absolutely. I love how this is working out. So while we have you, though, let's talk about some possibilities for people in television about, being lights, camera, action. Let's talk a little bit about, could you talk about maybe one or two opportunities that you believe are ripe for the taking in television? And then I'll take a couple as well. Okay, she's gone. So I will talk. So you just keep it moving, people. Let me tell you something. This is what happens when you're in an audition. Trust me, this is what happens when you're in an audition or when you're taking a meeting with someone. Invariably, things will go awry. So you just have to keep it moving. You cannot be befuddled and frustrated and flabbergasted because technology fails you, because sometimes it will. So I'm going to start, and then we'll, as we've done today, we're going to let Kim jump in when she gets back. So I'm going to talk about, the thing on the screen that I'm looking at says why we struggled and succeeded in TV. And I'm going to tell you a very quick story about me when I started in television as a sportscaster with ESPN and Fox and Lifetime Television. I was nervous as hell to be on television because millions of people are watching you. If you know what I'm talking about, whether it's speaking in front of someone or speaking in church or whatever your thing is, all of a sudden I'm thinking, ooh, millions of people are watching me. And so I was very nervous at the thought of being in front of millions of people, even though I'd chosen this path. And the producer said to me one day, and this, I'm telling you guys this because it's both my struggle and why I've become successful. My struggle was, he came to me after a production meeting and he says, I want to tell you something. You had a really good game today. And this was 20 years ago. He says, but if you are willing to be the person you are when we're sitting by the pool after the games and when we're having production meetings, and if you're willing to be that chick, if you're willing to be that crazy and that fun, you're willing to be her, who I assume is you, on the air, you will have no limits. Now, I need you guys to hear what I'm saying because I know this applies to most of you. Sometimes we are so afraid to be who we are. We're so afraid that we're not saying the right words. I mean, heck, earlier I was saying subconscious and I meant self-conscious. I mean, that's just the way it goes, right? That's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes we're so afraid of whether people are judging us and what they're saying about us and what they're thinking about us. So I realized that if I was willing to let go of caring and being invested in what people were thinking about me and saying about me or not saying about me, that I was freer to be myself. So he gave me a gift. Be yourself, be all of you, because that's the magic of you. That's the magic of you on television, is that you are willing to go places most women are not willing to go to. You're willing to be funny. And I know Kim can talk about this. You're willing to be funny. You're willing to be big. You're willing to be physical. You're willing to do the things that most women are not willing to do. He said, not because you're doing an act, but because that's you. So that was the secret for me that took me out of struggling to be good on television to becoming really good at being on television. And what I aspire to be is to continue to be great on TV. So that was why I struggled in television. And it's also in the same by the same token, why I was able to start succeeding in television as well, Kim. So what are your thoughts on really what it takes to succeed in television? And then we're going to talk very briefly about some of the opportunities that they can tap into.
Yes. You asked me about the struggles. What was that? You just asked me about
struggle. Why did you ever struggle in your career, and how were you able to overcome those barriers and start succeeding?
Actually, what's interesting is that my struggle happened after I'd already become quote unquote famous. I started as a stand-up comedian. I then went on to do, well, I'll tell you one of the early struggles is I got fired from my first big gig. My first show was In Living Color, and I actually got fired from that show, or I was released, or I was let go. And it was a great dose of reality early on in the business that not everything is going to work out the way you think it's going to. It was, I tell the story, it was sort of a political situation. Everyone knows the Wayans family, and there was just not enough room for me on that show in the end. I was released, and later on, Kenan did say to me, I knew that you were going to be okay. I had to let you go. I think that I was removed to make room for some other people to shine, and that's okay, because I wouldn't have gone on to do Living Single if Living Color had remained in my life. And I was very low on the totem pole for In Living Color, very low on the totem pole. And Living Single, a lot of people don't know this, was created around me and Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
So I went from the bottom of the totem pole all the way to the very, very top. So the struggle was, I'm here, I'm ready to work. Please see me as amazing. Please give me an opportunity. And that place wasn't meant for me. And I had to learn to suck it up and go, okay, this is not meant for me, but I got to keep going. And sometimes you'll have that. Listen, we have that in life, and we certainly have that in show business. I held on to the talent that I knew I had within me. I held on to the gift that I knew I had within me. And somehow I knew, even though I was sad that I was losing this job, I had an idea that everything was going to turn out okay. And I just stayed the course. I stayed the course. Sometimes you just hang in there, and your next opportunity will come. And we've all heard this before, 3 feet from gold. Sometimes you're digging and digging and digging, and you stop just when you're 3 feet away from digging that next place of gold. And what Fran and I want to offer you all now and going forward is how to dig a little bit further just to get that gold. That gold is right there. By the way, the gold is within you, if you haven't figured that out. But it's actually very easy to unearth that gold so that you can shine, and you can shine it up and show it to the world.
Absolutely. So you guys have heard our struggles. You've heard about some of the things that worked out and didn't work out for us. And now I want to just turn the conversation to, we're going to share maybe 1 or 2 things in terms of opportunities. We have a mix of people who are on with us today. Some of you are interested, you're coaches, you're speakers, you're interested in being on Good Morning America or your local morning shows and those kinds of things. So I'm going to start and talk about how you can literally get off with us today and make that happen. And so for some of you, this is going to be great news. For some of you, this is going to be not so great news. Really, and lean in with me on this. The easiest thing you can do if you're a commentator, if you have an expertise, like you're a personal trainer or a sports trainer or a former basketball player or a beauty consultant or whatever, you're in that coaching kind of expert space. Every single morning you turn on television at 5, 6, or 7 o'clock in the morning, you have your local morning shows on, and people are talking about everything from plastic surgery to racism to sexism to religion. I mean, these are experts. These are people who know something about something. And honestly, all you have to do, and this is going to sound very simplified because it is, most people want to make stuff so difficult. All you have to do is know what's happening in your arena, the arena that you want to be a commentator on. If you want to be talking about bullying in schools, if you want to be talking about marriage and relationships, know what's happening in your world, know what's happening in the media. And when something is happening in your world, pick up the phone, call the producer in your local area. Literally, you just figure out what your ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox affiliate, pick up the phone and says, who is your morning news producer? Who's your morning show producer? And they may tell you exactly who it is, or they may say, what do you want to talk about? Well, I'm a bully expert. I work with schools and try to help prevent or minimize the impact of bullying in middle schools. And I noticed that you guys last night did something on bullying in Illinois. You shared a national story about bullying in Illinois, and I'd love to come on and share with your viewers how to make this better in their communities or in their schools. Boom, that's it. Literally, I just pitched the producer. Right? And then they'll probably say, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Can you email us something? Can you give us a link to your website or whatever? And that's when you have to have all your stuff ready. We're not going to have a whole lot of time to talk about all that, but that's pretty much how it happens, y'all. So the people you're looking at on your local media, local news, many of them, if it's not a pay for play show, meaning you have to pay to be on there, which those shows are cropping up. But if it's not that, all you need to do is send an email, go to your new local news website, send an email to the producer of that show, or call them. They're local. People love to have local experts on. Pick up the phone, call them, and pitch them. That's it. That's my $1 million tip for you guys today. But here's the thing. Most people are not going to do that. Most people are going to make it harder than I just made it. When I'm telling you, this is what I've done. This is how I've been able to get $50 million of free publicity by doing what I just told you. You can't be afraid to pick up the phone and call someone and say, hey, I'm an expert at, or I have experience at this, and I noticed you did a story on this. Can I come in and talk to you guys about this? I'd love to be on your morning show. That's exactly how it happens. Kim? Me? Can you give them an idea of an opportunity that's out there, since we know kind of there's a diverse mix of people on the call? Give them an opportunity that you think is available in the marketplace for them if they're not a coach or a speaker or a thought leader.
I cannot hear the question. It sounds like you're asking me a question, but I can't hear it. Do you mind texting it to me again?
Absolutely. We are working multiple modalities here, y'all. We got text going. We got the Google Hangout happening. Okay, so the question is, what is an opportunity for someone who may be an entertainer? I talked about
If you
experts. Go ahead.
give me the beginning of the question.
I text you.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
what's an opportunity for someone? Well, I could hear bits and pieces of what you were saying, and you said to be proactive in so many words, right? You said pick up the phone, so study your arena, see what the lay of the land is, and find ways to plug yourself in. Am I right? I think that's what you were talking about.
Right.
Well, it's actually the same for performers. You really do need to study the arena and find places to plug yourself in. And there's people always have questions about agents versus managers, and do I need an agent? What you have to understand about agents and representatives is an agent typically gets 10% of your pay. And I heard someone say one time they get 10% of your pay because they do 10% of the work. It doesn't mean I'm putting down they need agents, but you have to be your own best agent and your own best representative. So number one, pay attention to the lay of the land as you begin to build your branding and begin to build your character and begin to build your business. And Fran and I are here to help you do that, of course. You begin to see and begin to also understand what your gifts are and where you fit in. You begin to put yourself out there. So maybe you send your picture and resume to a casting director, and casting directors have different rules about how they want you to submit to them. The same about producers. There are references and resources. Backstage West, backstage.com. There's something called stage32.com. There are casting websites that are legitimate now. I'm not talking about like the janky ones. I'm talking about legitimate show business, entertainment-based websites that have casting information. And you go there and you look and you see what's available and you plug yourself in, you apply as needed. You go to theater, you go to theater readings. You can actually even do a reading in your home with a bunch of your friends just to keep yourself energized and ready at all times so that when an opportunity pops up, you are ready and you are the one that gets called. You also network where it's appropriate. You also have to have a social media presence. And this is also one of the things that Fran and I will talk about when we tell you more about our workshop that we're doing, our masterclass, I should say, that we're doing. There are present places that you need to be present. You need to be everywhere all at the same time and always showing up as you so that when someone needs someone like you, you're the one that comes first to mind.
Great insight. So what we want to do now is ask you guys a question. We've talked a lot about who we are, what we do, why we do it, why we're helping you, why we want to support you. But the big question right now for those of you still on with us, and believe me, the fact that you are here tells us something about you. The one question we both had, and we talked about, what's that last question we want to ask people before we tell them how they can have fun with us? And it is, where would you like to be 3 to 5 years from now? I want you guys to type that in the chat bar. Where would you like to be 3 to 5 years from now? And we're waiting to hear from you. And I'm going to roll these off with Kim, and we're going to respond and all that. But I want to know, because publishing is important. Publishing your goals and your dreams and your aspirations is very important. We may never meet each other. We may not see each other today, but you telling me and Kim what you want to do creates a level of accountability for you doing that. So tell us, where do you see yourself?
Out there.
Yes. Yes. Where do you see yourselves 3 to 5 years from now? When you look at your future, where would you like to be 3 to 5 years from now? I'm waiting. Type it in the chat.
We're waiting.
That's right. We're waiting.
What is your vision? What is your ultimate vision for yourself in 3 to 5 years? And it's all achievable.
Yes.
Listen, Fran and I are not, like I said, we're not the typical whatever the rules are. We are rules breakers, and all of us have to be rules breakers, especially if you want to stand out. If you really look at anybody who has stood out, and actually in any field, and in particular in the entertainment business, on television, in broadcast, even online, you have to stand out. And I love to tell people, everyone talks about thinking outside the box. I say, actually, build your own box and jump up out of that every once in a while. It is required. Just jump up and go, I'm here. And so what do you want 5 years. Is anyone commenting? Because of course I
Absolutely.
can't see the comment.
Here's what we have, Kim. We have Michael says on an Emmy award-winning show. You can certainly talk about that. Louisa said motivational speaker, a kindness guru. Love that. Deborah said to be an acclaimed author with lines around a venue to get my book. Peace says I'd like to be a highly paid natural hair expert. Love that. Call me. Jay says making a living performing stand-up, doing motivational speaking and writing. What I love about what I'm hearing, Kim, is like everybody's was so different. Everybody is so different, and yet we've done everything everybody just mentioned that they wanted to do.
Great. But I love that they seem to be I can't hear all of it, of course, but it sounds as if they're very clear about, I want to be this kind of expert. I want to be on an Emmy award-winning show. I want to be, those are great goals, and they're all achievable.
Yep. Sometimes I've heard that if you can actually see where you want to be, perhaps, if you actually know how it all works out and which step, that perhaps your vision is not big enough. I love hearing that. Like, if you know exactly what you're going to be doing, maybe you should be envisioning something much larger for yourself. What you guys are putting in the chat bar is just the beginning of what you are capable of. That's what we're saying. It's just the beginning of what you're capable of. Laquita says through speaking for girls and young women, best-selling author, worldwide brand. Go ahead, Kim.
And let me also say that, we all know about the law of attraction. And one of the tricks is to step into the feeling of what it will be like when you are there, and to resonate with that feeling all the time. That what does prosperity feel like to you? What does success feel like to you? What does getting your message out to the masses feel like to you? And how does it feel? Hold on just a second. Oh, okay. I was told that I have to leave this room because the room is booked at 2. I'm in a corporate environment. I'm at Bank of New York Mellon. Someone let me borrow the conference room. I had no idea that I was going to be kicked out. So, Fran, I'm going to let you take it away. I am an interloper in this experience, and I'm going to see if I can find another place to be. So, thank you, and I shall return.
All right. So we'll see you. So basically, I'm transitioning to telling you guys about what Kim and I have cooked up for you guys. The reason that question is so important, you guys already know it. The reason that question is so important is because it's completely achievable. It's completely doable, but you have to have a roadmap. The Chinese have a proverb that says, to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. To know the road ahead, ask those coming back. In other words, if you want to go somewhere, you need to ask someone who's been there. Well, based on what you guys put into your chat bar, into the chat roll, you want to go where Kim and I have been, and we want to help you get there. So let me tell you what we've cooked up. We're going to do a 4-week masterclass where we're going to peel back, I like to say, these juicy orange, and tell you everything, share with you everything we've done along the way to get to our 60+ years experience in the business. But the thing is, it's not going to take you guys 30 years. When we started, there was no internet. When we started, I think when we started, there was barely cable television, let's be honest, right? So what is it that you need to know to get to where you want to go based on what you put in the chat roll? Kim and I have the expertise, the knowledge, the experience to help you get there. So we're going to do a 4-week masterclass series. Masterclass number 1, we're going to talk about opportunities in TV. So we told you 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things today, but we're going to delve into some very specific opportunities that you have based on what you just told us that you wanted to do, that are out there in television and out there online. We're going to talk about reality shows, the kinds that you do want to get on based on where you want to go, your career path, and the kinds you don't want to get on that can hurt your career. We're going to talk about alternative shows such as game shows and travel shows and morning shows and your own talk shows and news shows. And yes, even YouTube shows. So masterclass all about showing you this big buffet that you have in the world of television, and showing you that there are neither no excuses and there are no limits for what you can do on television. Then at the end of masterclass number 1, we're going to talk about your basic toolkit, what you need to have in your toolkit to get you going. That's a headshot, and that can be your digital one, offline one, what your website needs to look like, what producers are looking for when they're booking talent, and how a lot of the mistakes that people make with their websites that they don't even know they're making. I'll give you an example. It's all glitzy and glamour, but it takes 20 minutes, 20 seconds for it to load. Like a producer comes looking for you. I'll just tell you, a producer comes looking for you, Laquita, and she gets to your website and it takes it 30 seconds to load, and then she can't find your link. She's leaving. She's going to the next person. Okay. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to get in Masterclass 1. We're going to knock you over the head very early with, again, the buffet that is available for you to do exactly what you want to do. And then, of course, at the end of that, we'll give you some Q&A and answer any questions that you have about that. Week 2 is about you. It is about the talent. And I put it here, it's like unique. What makes you unique? We're going to help you figure out how to stand out in a very, very crowded marketplace. In a marketplace where people are looking for people who do what you do, but they're looking for people who stand out, who do what you do. For someone who has a unique point of view. That's what POV is. Do you have a unique point of view? Do you have a point of view at all? A lot of people don't really understand what that means. That means that if I put you in a lineup of people who do what you do, and I give you 20 seconds to tell us what you do I sense that there is a unique point of view based on your package, based on who you are? So we're going to talk about that in Masterclass number 2. We're going to talk about what I teach a lot, which is your message, fine-tuning your message, fine-tuning who you are as a messenger, and fine-tuning who you are in terms of your method. So we're going to talk about my 3 M's, the message, the messenger, and the method. And if you don't know what those things are, then obviously this will be a great class for you to figure out how to create some distinction in the marketplace for who you are. We're going to talk about 3 to 7 C's. Both of us have a different set of C's that we like to talk about, but you can be sure that we're going to talk about character, confidence, and charisma as it relates to building your unique talent brand. And then we're going to talk about your unique it factor. Right? You hear people toss that phrase around a lot. Oh, they have the it factor. You know it when you see it, y'all. And everybody has a very unique it factor, but a lot of people are either afraid to show it or they don't know how to bring it out. So this class is all about you. It's all about your talent. It's all about fine-tuning what your brand is in the marketplace. All right. And then Masterclass 3, we're going to talk about auditioning, right? How do you take a meeting? How do you take a phone meeting? I like to say, how do you give good phone? How do you take a phone meeting? How do you take a Skype meeting? How do you meet in person? How to put your application together. I just had a client who wanted to get on Shark Tank and got to the point where she didn't quite know how to get her application together. We worked on her application. We made it look like nobody else's application. Guess what, guys? She got to audition for Shark Tank. We'll find out soon if she actually got on the show. So there are some very specific things that you have to do to get on these shows and to apply and to make yourself stand out. We're going to talk about application secrets. We're going to talk about how to dress, what your packaging is, how to take a meeting, how to research before your auditions. You know, I told you maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago how to just call your local station to get on there. I mean, nobody thinks it's that easy. Now, it may not happen the first time. You got to keep going, but the process is very simple. Okay. So we're going to talk about how to prepare for auditions, how to reach out to decision makers, how to start building the relationships to build your own show, to build what maybe Oprah Winfrey has done. If that's what you would like to do, then there's no reason that you can't do it. So we're going to talk about all things audition in Masterclass 3. And then the final Masterclass is, obviously, we need to tell you where to find the opportunities. Kim went over some of this in her last comment. Where do you find the opportunities? How do you put together the right email for the local television station? Or if you want to be on OWN, or if you want to be on TLC, or if you want to be on Lifetime, how do you find the decision makers? How do you position yourself? How do you pitch yourself? What are the good casting websites and what are the bad casting websites? Masterclass 4 is about sending you on your way with the tools that you need to find the people you need to talk to get to the level that you want. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's 4 weeks of Masterclass. The first 3 weeks are start on the 14th of March, which is a Monday. And if you are not available for the live Masterclass, then obviously the replay will be available for you. Okay. So you guys have heard this, and obviously on the last week we're going to be doing the extensive Q&A, and that means that if you have questions for what you want to do, this is the time to ask it. This is the time to say, hey, listen, in week 3, we talked about this. I put my website together where you guys take a look at my website, and we can do that live actually in class. So what we've put together is what we believe are the essential components of building a global brand through the power of television. So if you can probably see in the chat right now, this is a four masterclass series where you're going to get the opportunity to work intensively and intimately with me and Kim in an environment very similar to what we're doing today, and get a chance to pick our brains, understand what it takes to get to a certain level of not even celebrity or fame or notoriety, but success, whatever that means for you. You guys will have to define what that is for you. So you can see in the chat bar now that you can reserve your spot in our masterclass series. So we have limited spots. Obviously, Kim and I love chatting, love talking or whatever. And obviously the people who are going to be joining us in masterclass will get the opportunity to work with us at a level that most people will not. You're going to be getting our templates, our networking Rolodex, everything that we've ever done to get our brand to the next level, whether that's being on television, audition secrets, or whatever. You're going to be getting that in the 4 weeks that we're going to be together. Now, we thought about doing 6 or 8 weeks, but we understand that people are ready to go, right? So our classes are going to be anywhere from between maybe 70 to 90 minutes. So this is hardcore immersion, experiential, where we're going to be showing you examples of headshots, examples of websites, examples of successful bookings that we've gotten, as well as rejections that we've gotten, right? You're going to get literal templates of emails that we write to producers, that we write to agents when we're pitching ourselves. Basically, guys, you're getting the benefit of 30 years for each of us, respectively, in terms of show business, television business, and the entertainment business. So if this is something you would like to jump into and really go to the next level, then we want to invite you to join us for Lights, Cameras, Action, the Masterclass series. There should be a button on the page right now that says reserve your spot. When you click that button, you're going to be taken to a page that will show you what you are getting. So let me show you what that page is real quickly. All righty. Let's see if you guys can see this real quick. I'm going to take a quick little screenshot so you can see what you're getting. All right, the first option that you're going to get, and I'll pull this up for you guys. The first option that you are going to be able to do is the what we call the Rising Star option. And in the Rising Star option, stand by. I'll bring that up. Stand by, everybody. All right, we're going to bring up the options. If you haven't clicked the button, if you click the button, you already know what you're seeing right there, but here we go. All right, here we go. So in the Rising Star option, you are getting access to the 3 masterclasses plus the final masterclass, which includes extensive Q&A. You're going to be getting the 4-week masterclass curriculum with me and Kim, instructing you on how to build your unique point of view, your brand, and your lights, camera, action plan, your action plan. You're going to get lifetime access to all masterclass archives at the end of the 4 weeks. And plus, you're getting lifetime 24-hour email response and customer support. Okay. That is $197. For the next one, you are getting what we call the Superstar. Call that one the Superstar plan. That's going to give you everything in the Rising Star plan. Plus, you're getting access for 1 month of our private Facebook group, where you get the opportunity not only to network with us, we'll drop in every now and then, but also to network with other people who are on the same path that you are on for your lights, camera, action plan. You're also going to get 1 month free of our monthly coaching. Yes, we will be doing monthly conversations with you guys, those of you who join us, monthly conversations with us where you get to come in as you're building your action plan, as you're building your career path, talk to us, ask us questions. Hey, I had this audition the other day, or hey, I called this local television person, or hey, I got this audition. What can you guys give me some insights and some suggestions on how to handle this? So that gives you that in the Superstar package, which is $397. Okay. And then what we call the Rockstar package is everything that you see in the Superstar package. But in addition to that, you're going to get 3 months of live coaching with us every month. You're getting 3 months of the Facebook private group. And Kim and I are planning a live event in Los Angeles this summer, which we will probably offer for $10,000. You are actually getting one ticket to that absolutely free. So basically, guys, just take a look at click on the page right now where it says reserve your spot, and you will see the recap of everything I just went through. But basically, it's an opportunity for you guys to work with us in a private situation where you will be getting the kind of coaching and the kind of insights that you need to do exactly what you put in the chat roll earlier. You talked about wanting to be Emmy Award winning on Emmy Award winning shows, to have building global worldwide brands, to hosting your own talk shows, to being best-selling authors. Here is an opportunity to work with people who've done exactly what you want to do. And we've made it drop dead simple for you. So if you feel like you pretty much got it on your own, then maybe the Rising Star package is for you at $197. If you want to upgrade your experience and have monthly coaching with us, then you'll have the opportunity to do that. If you want to join the Facebook group, we're giving you in the Superstar package in the middle of $397, giving you the opportunity to get one free month of both of those, and then an opportunity to continue for a very, very reasonable investment. And then finally, if you are ready for rock stardom, then we're giving you the opportunity to get everything I just talked about, plus 3 free months of the Facebook private group, 3 free months of monthly coaching with us. And of course, the most important thing, I believe, is the opportunity to meet us in Hollywood, in Los Angeles this summer, and spend some time with us and not have to pay the $10,000 admission and investment for coming to Los Angeles. That is going to be actually thrown into the Rockstar package. So guys, it has been my honor to be with you today. I appreciate you so much for hanging in there with us with the technical difficulties. If you are ready for your next level, there is only one thing to do right now, and that is to click the reserve your spot button right now. We do start with the live master classes on March 14th. And at that time, actually, if you've clicked on the offer already, then you know that these special rates will expire on March 13th. And of course, obviously, we reserve the right to close this down if we get to an enrollment limit. But we're planning basically to get started on the 14th with our live master classes. If you are ready for your next level, click the button right now to reserve your spot, and we will get started. So I'm going to be wrapping up, but I'm happy to answer any final questions before we take off. Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you, Marie. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. Any other questions that you guys have before we sign off? Jay says, Kim, I never got to thank you for the nuggets you dropped me at Flappers one night about a year ago. I'll make sure she knows that, Jay. Appreciate you being here. Any other questions before we sign off? And make sure you get signed up. Today, we've got some special bonuses for you guys. For those of you that get signed up before the end of the day, we got some surprise bonuses that we're going to throw in as well. But most importantly, make very, very sure that you get registered for this if you are serious about your next level. We hope we'll see you guys in Los Angeles this summer. That's going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate you being here. Aura, thank you. Jay, thank you very much. Vincent, we're going to talk about that in our masterclass. And honestly, Vincent asked the question, any good websites for aspiring comics? My thing is, for anyone who's building a website, is that simplicity is the most important thing you can do. It really is. People don't like to come to your website and get confused and overwhelmed. So Jay, yeah, I think Vincent, anything you can do to simplify what your website looks like, you know, have your videos on it, have where you're going to be performing, have how to contact you, make it all very obvious how people can find you. That's the best advice I can give you. And that's for anybody who's building a website. Make the navigation very, very simple. All right. Robin says, thank you both. Hashtag the glitches made authentic. Appreciate that, Robin. We just keep it rolling. That's what you have to do. In fact, this was a great little workshop for what happens in the business. Like, you just keep it rolling. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. If you have not signed up yet for Lights, Cameras Action, make sure you click on the button now. Go there, review the packages, and let us know if we can answer any questions, and make sure you get signed up before those rates actually increase, and they will increase the night before we start the live classes. All right, guys. Well, thank you very, very much. thank you very, very much for being on the webinar with us today. I appreciate it. I will let Kim know. She had to check out. I'll let her know that you guys were sending her well wishes and all that great stuff. So go out there, you guys. Make sure you step into your dreams with full vigor and authenticity and excitement and that kind of stuff. And we have absolutely no doubt that you will be successful. So we're looking forward to working with those of you who are joining us for Lights, Cameras, Action, the masterclass series. Click the button on this page right now. We'll leave it up for a while. Click the button and make sure you get signed up as quickly as possible. We'll see you guys. Have a great weekend. Go out there, make your move, make your mark, and make your difference. We'll see you soon.